Do you want to do alternating?
Drinks break.
Do you want to do alternating? So I'll do one and you do one?
Okay.
Okay, do you want to do top 5 or the bottom 5 first?
Let's go top 5.
Okay, top 5. My honourable mention in top 5 is Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I think that is a film that really needs to be mentioned because it is something that's clever and intelligent, and it transforms what was a shockingly bad franchise into something which is believable and good. And James Franco did quite well in it.
Okay. I would agree with that. My honourable mention would be The Fighter. Generally because it is a good film, but not very original. However, you got stellar performances from Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg for once, so...
I doubt that Mark Wahlberg
will do anything better than that.
Yeah, that's true. Even though I loved the other guys. I thought the other guys was
other guys were funny, but for me, personally, Mark Wahlberg will always be in the shadow of his brother, who's a much better actor.
Who is his brother?
Danny Wahlberg.
What's he been in?
Well, Blue Bloods for once, but most films, but he's...
Most films. He's been in most films.
Most films, but not as the main starring guy.
What films has he been in this year? Because we've got a list here, and it's probably not going to crop up.
Well, he's a man of many talents, because he's got New Kids on the Block. And
X-Men First Class is also one of my honourable mentions. I thought that was such a brilliantly crafted film. It tied up everything well, and I love the cameos. I love how it all came together really well. But it just wasn't one of my top 5 for me this year, unfortunately. Oh.
So we're actually going to top 5 now after the honourable mentions?
Yes.
Well, I'd have to put an honourable mention comedy in between it, but it wouldn't be in my top 5.
I understand that.
Filmmaking, really.
That's fine. I've got another honourable mention because I've realised I've forgotten a film. So my other honourable mention definitely goes to Super 8. That is a film that really harkened back to how brilliant cinema was. Well, it is a film which is retroed, which I loved. It had... the thing that held it back really was its own self-effaceingness. I didn't enjoy that at all, but everything else about it was really great. I thought it was a well-crafted, intelligently made, family sci-fi film, honestly.
Like Attack the Block.
We'll get to Attack the Block. Attack the Block isn't down on anywhere, so I will talk about it
Nice
later.
family movie.
No, yeah, it was... If your family is Jade Goodies.
Please write in or send a video of what you think Brup is.
Right, 5. Right, here we go. Top 5, okay? My first entry in top 5 is Source Code.
Yeah, that'll be one of mine.
Definitely think it's a brilliant film. Duncan Jones, once again, proving himself completely, but I think the last 8 minutes still lets it down. I think it could have ended where, on the train where it freezes, and it would have been a brilliant movie. It would have been perfect. But he had to carry it on in a tangent universe to give us a question. And I don't mind that, but I just don't. That is why it's on 5 and not higher.
Okay. Oh, you're doing this in order?
I am doing this in order.
I would do mine not in order.
Alright, you can do yours not in order, so what's one of yours?
One of mine...
Alright, what do you think of Source Code then? What did you think?
Source Code? Yeah, it's one of those films which you have to really be engrossed in, rather than just kind of lay back and think, oh, I can just enjoy this. You'd have to... It really gets you involved.
It is something that produces an idea as opposed to just a movie. It's something that produces an idea.
You have to think about for a while and put yourself in his position rather than enjoy it for action, which is very limited, but it's more about obviously the time he's in. But no, I think the last 8 minutes is alright. I reckon it's for everyone to kind of have that happy ending that I think they
It does give closure, but I don't like that about it. I didn't think it needed it.
Inception doesn't give you closure, and that's kind of what makes it a great ending, even though people have their own thoughts on it. But Source Code is very good. I've put Limitless as another top 5 film.
I've got Limitless as well.
Just the ideas, it's something different, a good performance, and it's just the filmmaking from the intro credits right to the end, how they kind of show how your brain should work even more, and they produce that in filmmaking rather than just mentioning it and we accepting it as an audience. You kind of put into his position.
I agree completely. I think that Limitless is one of the definite films of the year. I think that it's the best thing Bradley Cooper's ever done. I think it's the best thing he'll ever do. I think it is well produced. I think it goes in a direction that you don't think it will.
I think Bradley Cooper needs to do a film like that, step away from, say, the Hangover comedy, where he could show his different elements of his acting skills.
Yeah, I thought that it was interesting because it is a film that goes here's where we think you're going with it, and then that ending, the final confrontation in that ending, not the final ending, but the final confrontation with the Russian, I thought was very unexpected. I didn't expect it to go like that at all. I expected him to have something or have a trick up his sleeve, and he doesn't. And I like that. I like how you have to adapt and use his actual intelligence, and it shows how he's transformed. And it is a very, very well shot film. What's another one? No, do you want me to go?
You go.
Ironically, I think that third, Sherlock Holmes 2.
Yeah, I don't know where I put that myself,
I think
but it's
third.
definitely up there.
It was going to be first, but then I realised that I need to put something higher than that. Yes, Sherlock Holmes 2 is definitely third because it is the perfect piece of cinema. It is enjoyable. It's better than the first one. It is a fine performance by all, especially Gerard Harris, who's incredible as Moriarty. It's like he's been made to be Moriarty. I think he upstages Robert Downey Jr. personally in the film. I think he's better than Robert Downey Jr. in it. Controversial.
I thought Robert Downey Jr. was good. Really put in a good performance, but he's very comfortable in that. Like I was saying, Jude Law, he seems to be getting better and better, in my opinion. And they're both comfortable, fit like a glove, and it kind of showed their chemistry on screen.
What do you think to Naomi Rapace? Do you think she's as good as everyone says?
I think just solid performance. I don't really want to read too much into it.
Well, you know, I mean, she's the girl with the dragon tattoo, and that is where she came from, so it is an expansion for her. I think she's good. I think it'll be interesting to see where she goes and what she does with her life now that she's shedded her tattoo, as it were, but we'll see, won't we?
We'll see what we did there.
No, thank you. Alright, your one next. You've got to pick one.
Well, I think this is the year of Ryan Gosling, and even though I loved The Ides of March, I think Drive was better. He said 1,000 words without saying a single thing in that movie.
I haven't seen Drive, so this is all on you, Ollie. Tell me about
me.
Tell me.
Well,
you pitch me the film. Go on.
Well, basically, you think you're going into the film going, oh, it's just going to be like a Gone in 60 Seconds or Fast and Furious, where it'll just be about driving an action sequence, even though that's not the case. He happens to be a class stuntman, and he can drive a car, and he can drive it really well, but that's not the whole point of the movie. The whole point of the movie is kind of...
Are you going to give away a spoiler?
Well, let's not give away a spoiler. But
no, let's not give away a spoiler. I'm going to watch it later.
Okay.
That's unfair.
He dies. No.
They all die. They destroy the ring. Dumbledore dies. Oops. Sorry, guys.
Well, what can I say without giving away a spoiler? I could pretty much say he's living in this place, and his next door neighbour is this nice woman with her child, and he wants to protect them, who's their father in prison, and okay. Actually, no, I think we'll...
Should we just butt out and call it even?
I think Drive's hard to mention without actually saying, totally spoiling it. I don't know.
Second one for me this year. This is the problem. No, I think, alright, second one for me this year is definitely 127 Hours.
127 Hours is my last one on my top 5 as well.
Danny Boyle is just... And I'll tell you why it came in second, because it is the only film this year that made me want to stand up and applaud. I wanted to clap at the end of that film. I thought it was perfect. So, from beginning to end, there is nothing... You couldn't cut a second of that film. And Daniel Boyle shows how brilliant he is. He shows how he can get into a crevice and he can bring you in. It didn't need to be 3D. It was a film that was 3D without being 3D. It was like last year's Buried. Buried was a film that made you go inside something. And that's what you're doing. James Franco,
yeah.
James Franco was incredible in it. Really brilliant.
I think he needs a performance like that. Well, he put in a fantastic performance in Rise of the Planet of the Apes as well. So he's really done well this year.
Yeah,
but he's done, obviously, you've got your typical stoner and Pineapple Express and kind of teen stuff he does, a bit of comedy, a bit laid back, chill guy. But this kind of, he came to a different character, came into his own the focus is so much on him to make that movie. Although the filmmaking, as an actor, there's so much pressure.
Well, it couldn't be the same film if it was anyone else except for him.
Yeah.
So that really is the telltale sign that he's a good actor, isn't it?
Well, it's just, like I said, Buried, how you can stay in one place and one place only for the majority of the film and still be gripped. And that is down to the director, down to the actor, and also the flow. You got to keep the momentum going, and it gets more and more intense. You feel yourself gripped to the seat.
Yeah, and he plays with you a lot, doesn't he? Because you have that moment where he's jabbed the razor, and then you're like, oh, it's going to be now, and it isn't.
Yeah.
And it's going to be now, and I remember when it first came out, I knew when the moment was going to be because I'd seen it. Because I was watching it by accident, I saw the moment. And I started to, when it came that second, I didn't watch the film, I watched the audience. And it was such an I've never seen a film have such a transformation in a few seconds because of how quickly, because you thought, oh, he's going to, and then it was like, and then you think, oh, people are going to overreact. Watching the film, most of the film you think, oh, people overreact, you know, you hear people being sick or passing out, oh, it's not going to be that bad. Then it is that bad. And you're like, this is so brilliant, how he's drawn that into it. So,
was it that scene where he's trying to cut himself through as well, and he hits like a nerve, and the shriek
you go,
noise you get,
and you're like, oh, no, that's it.
like fingernails on the chalkboard,
and it is great how you do think genuinely he's going to bleed to death as well. Yeah. You know he's going to live.
Well, at the end of the film, when he finally got free, you still thought he could die because he's lost so much blood. Yeah. But,
and when he took that photo, it's just a film that's perfect through so many different ways. And yeah, that's my second. My top film of the year is Hugo.
Ooh.
The Scorsese film. So Scorsese does it again. And it's not for any other reason than he saved cinema by doing it. It's a film that's in 3D, I agree, which is a shame. But it really shows how brilliant cinema used to be. It brings back the respect that cinema has, and it shows how it's an art form. And it is a film that dares to be different and goes, do you know what was great? Was when we could sit down and you could hear the film reel when you're watching it. Now, you sit in the screen and you go, and it's horrible. It's horrible. And so what Scorsese's trying to do is push the life back into cinema. And Sacha Baron Cohen's in it very well. Everybody's very good in it. So, yeah, I think it's justified, and I think that is film of the year for me. It's Hugo. A controversial pick, I agree.
I must admit, I can't explain